all you guys that came in from DNF Rank Night. Hey, how you guys doing out there? Welcome in. Hope you all have had a blessed one here for tonight.
Yo,
Hey, hello.
what's up, Rodimus?
Oh, it's been going pretty good. How did Rank Night go?
It was pretty fun.
Oh, okay. What type of matchups did you see out there?
The worst types. I ran into constant 8-2 matchups and 7-3 matchups the whole night. The best I had today was fighting Simon, where it's like 5-5, but like it's a very skewed 5-5.
Oh my.
Yeah, it was not fun. That's the state of DNF right now. It's just littered with unbalanced shit because yeah.
Well, I mean, at least some matchups are interesting, I hope.
Yeah, no, they definitely are. I mean, when you, like, for example, Nenmaster versus Lost Warrior, that's a really interesting matchup because Lost Warrior, because we were just playing this, so that's why I'm using that example. Lost Warrior, he is quite literally the neutral. If you see him on screen, you gotta be careful because he's gonna neutral skip. He has full screen tracking command grab that you gotta jump it to avoid it or just dash block, right?
Right.
And then that's pretty much it. Those are like his two main things. Like he will skip the neutral and he is the neutral. That's it. But Nenmaster kind of plays around that with like, oh, I have projectile invul, I have armor to stop you to stop you from using your defensive options. And she also has really strong pressure versus him. So it's like almost an infinite block string, but not quite.
Alright, let's go ahead and hop right on into it. So, starting with the Rank Night, what was your introduction into dungeon fighters?
Oh man, honestly, DNF is my introduction to dungeon and fighting. It's just like the MMO is still around and they still have a really huge huge player base in Korea, and the NA scene is being run by Meza. Shout out to Meza, who hosts tournaments for them, and he's like their sponsor for the NA side of DFO, which is really cool. I got to commentate on there a few times, and I even got to play it a few times, so that was really cool.
Oh,
that
wow.
I got to experience that. Yeah, it's super cool. If you guys are interested in like DFO and trying it out, definitely hit up Meza FGC. He's goated for that. But DNF is pretty much my introduction to that to the Dungeon Fighter IP.
Okay. So you played the MMO before you even delved into anything with the rest of the IP?
Pretty much, yeah. Because like the MMO has been around for such a long time. Like it's been around for at least like what 20 years, I think. At this point.
That sounds about right.
So yeah, like even like back then when the internet was first coming out, my cousin, by the time I had a computer, my cousin would go off about telling me, "Yo, you should learn Dungeon Fighter." I was like, "Oh, word, all right, I'm gonna give it a try." I hopped on it once and I got lost. So I at that time I was still a young kid and I was still like playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So my reading comprehension skills were at an all-time low. But now the MMO has some really cool things. Like you can grab a character. You can literally boot up the game right now, start with an event character, which is like a character that you're gonna play it with, and he gets like granted extra XP. So you basically have like you play through the story to like a certain point, and you're just breezing through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then so you can do that to like get quick access to the PvP, which is what I've been doing whenever I go play DFO.
Oh, productive cheese spots.
What do you mean?
A cheese spot that allows you to like get an edge on level grinding or meeting the prerequisites sooner. Just like what we do like in general RPGs and stuff.
Oh, kind of like that, but like instead of that, they give you like gear that is like way past your level. And they're like, here, now you can one-shot bosses if you want to. And that's pretty much what it's like starting out DFO with an event character. If you decide to run the game normally, it's a little more challenging, but it's worth it. I have like I have a level 50 what was it, summoner, a level 50 summoner who literally is like, I just played through it just to get her to get into PvP, and that was it.
Hey, there you go.
It doesn't take that long, to be honest. It's, a couple hours for sure, but you know it's worth it if you want to get into the game.
Okay. Question 2. When when you first came up in the scene, what was the community like back then in those days for you? Like, did you see a lot of influencers or YouTubers or troublemakers or you techies? Like, tell me about your story.
So pretty much when I started out, there were a lot of people playing the game. Like, we had HUEBERT hosting tournaments for us like every Saturday. That went on for a while until like some stuff happened, and HUEBERT was all like, all right, you know, I don't need to host for this anymore. So, and then HUEBERT left, he stopped hosting. And then
Okay.
we could elaborate on that later, but like it was like this whole like drama thing. You know, I said later, but I meant like right now.
It's all good. See, chat later
So
can be an hour from now, or it can just be a moment.
yeah. So like pretty much what happened was like there was like some things going on in the grind server for DNF, not the Reddit server. The grind server is its own entity where it was like all the top players were in there. I happened to get invited in there, so I was one of the cool people. Not to
Awesome.
brag. I got in there just off of good graces. I wasn't good at the game yet, and I still don't think I'm good at the game. I play shit characters in a shit game, so if that tells you anything. And so pretty much the game was okay, HUEBERT was hosting stuff, and then these guys in the server were having arguments with each other. I'm not going to name names because it was such a long time ago that it's easy to get the details confused and wrong.
Fair.
So I'm just gonna like give you like a brief summary of what happened on why HUEBERT left. And so things were said, people were brought in, Sonic Soul was brought in, and because like Sonic Soul was kind of like being dealt the same hand that these guys were being dealt. So they were like, oh yeah, you know, we're gonna band together, we're gonna just fucking expose these guys for being assholes, and that we're gonna start our own thing, because what they wanted originally was to have like an integrated announcement tab for all the tournaments and events that are happening.
That way it would be easier to coordinate and communicate a lot of the activities through the community.
Right, exactly. And low key, the community was the people who were in that server were like, "LOL, this is dumb as fuck."
Hey,
And
it's
they
your
took
game.
offense to that. Yeah, exactly. And they took offense to that. So I was like, I don't know why that's such a bad idea. It sounds like it's dope. So they went ahead, they started their own Discord server to get that set up for everybody. And to this day, we still use it. So it's like, it worked out in the end, you know? And then, so, some other things started, like, they had, like, two, it was, like, twice that they went out and started exposing people. The second time was when HUEBERT was all like, yeah, I'm not fucking with this community anymore. I'm a bounce. So it was like that. And then So the community at that time was literally just me. Yeah, it was literally just me.
This is the same Hubert
Yeah,
that does like Guilty Gear and other anime games.
Yeah, I don't know about Guilty Gear, but I know he does Grand Blue, and he popped off on Grand Blue when he started doing that. I saw because the thing is, DNF wasn't big to begin with, but he had a lot of love coming in from the Grand Blue community. So like whenever Hubert hosted something, it was always like at least 100 viewers minimum, and that was dope because that was bringing in heads to the DNF community as well.
Oh, that's massive
So
traction.
yeah, so when we lost that, it was like, damn, we dead in the water now. Except I kept streaming and the DLCs kept coming out. And literally, I was the only one streaming the game, aside from like a few other people who are like Moneycat. At the time, the Vids used to stream. The Vids is like the #1 in EU. Yeah, he stopped streaming it because like there was no competition in EU either. Because there was legit nobody hosting for EU online, at least. Offline, they had a pretty healthy scene. It's just nobody wanted to play the fucking game. Because, I'm sorry. I cursed.
You're able to curse, you're good.
Oh, okay. But yeah, like, nobody wanted to play the game because it was horribly unbalanced at launch. And we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a bit whenever you want to know about that.
I do. That is a part of my questions when we get going.
Nice. So, and like and the funny thing is that never changed. DNF being horribly unbalanced never changed, except for when they dropped their first patch. Their first like big balance patch, they introduced so many good changes. The game was actually really fun to play. And so we started getting more heads when that came out. We got more heads when Spectre came out. And then after that, it was like, it was literally just me streaming content for the game. Everybody else either doesn't make content or, yeah, they're just that. They just don't make content. So I was the only one, and low-key, I don't make content either. I just stream because I don't know how to make content.
Actually, that is one way to do it right there.
Yeah, exactly. But like, it doesn't get views, you know? Like, I can go ahead, like, even back then, I was going ahead and I was dropping, like, oh yeah, you know, I would re-upload my streams, make a thumbnail for them, and that was it. Or like, maybe I'll edit out some really cool moments from it. But in terms of viewership on YouTube, there was 0 viewership on YouTube for it. I would get like 100 views, 50 views max on YouTube. So on YouTube, it was dead. There like DNF was not even a subject on YouTube. There wasn't even like you know those little apps that you can make that gives you like tags for videos, that generates tags for your videos.
Yes.
Yeah, I tried doing that with a couple of my DNF Duel videos. None of them came out. It was all like, there's not enough search engine stuff, so we're gonna give you just the generic tags for like any video. It said funny, comedy. I was like, hello, this is not whatever, we'll put it in there. So there was a community for it on launch, but like I said, it was horribly unbalanced. People refunded the game within the first month because there was 4 different infinites found in the game. Not even like, some high execution. I mean, it was high execution, but like once you got it down, you legit would taunт somebody for the smallest thing.
God damn, some Marvel shit.
Yeah, it was really bad. People didn't like that. They wanted their money back, and so Nexon took a huge blow because like that was 90% of the players asking for their money back.
Question 3. What was the communications like, in your opinion, between the community and the dev team?
We had, I remember there being talk of one instance of communication, and that was it. And that was at Frosty Faustings. Somebody saw a representative there. They spoke to them, and they basically told them, yeah, we have plans for DLC for it now. And that was before the Arc World Tour started, and so we were expecting to see DNF Duel was going to be there. And I think we had one world tour for DNF, and that was it. After that, they kind of just said, all right, we're donezo.
You said a world tour. Wait, did they get a chance to have a world tour throughout the whole of the battle pass for all the characters, or was this just done throughout one year cycle and then it was done?
It was. You know what? I may have gotten that wrong. I don't even think we had a world tour. I think it was just that we were going to get one, and then in some, like, because I think I remember the conversation being like, oh, the representative saying that they're working some stuff out for DNF Duel. We might get something. And it was like, and I remember like the hype was like, oh, DNF is gonna get a world tour. But I mean, I'm gonna do a quick Google search.
Go for it.
Okay, yeah, we did get a world tour. Goichi was in it. Oh yeah. Kubo won the world tour. I remember it now. That was so cool. Yeah, so it was 2022. It was in 2022. That was the only time we got a world tour, and that was for launch DNF. The worst version of DNF, by the way. That was it. Like, it literally happened after like 90% of the player base was already gone. So they gave us the world tour. They were like, okay, after this, we're gonna announce some DLC. They gave it to us, and that was it, man.
Damn, like, they had a lot of great people on this bracket. I'm looking at it right now on Liquipedia for all of the for the professional players outline. There was a lot of nice people that were repping this throughout 2022.
Yeah, man, there was so many people here. Like, Kubo was my favorite to win. He didn't win, he got third, but he won with Grappler, which was like insane because he went through so many tough matchups to get there. Yeah, he went through K-Top, Lost Soul, who was playing Ghostblade at the time. Oh, he was playing DK.
Dragon. Yeah, Dragon Knight.
Yeah.
And then I see Yun Sung here. I remember Yun Sung. That Ghostblade was just unbelievably nasty.
Yeah. So it was just chaos. Like, that losers run was crazy. He went up against Nanpon, who was like the best striker in the world at the time. He was pioneering the tech for her. But like, yo, the fact Goichi got there and he won with Crusader was crazy, because nobody thought Crusader was that strong. I definitely didn't think so. I started out with Crusader, and after a while I was all like, oh nah, this character kind of buns. But then Goichi was all like, what do you mean, bro? He got walls. He puts you in the corner without there being need. Like, he created his own corners, which was insane. And at the time, it was like 12 frame startup for it. Literally unreactable.
Wait, a 12 frame startup for that whole thing he does that just creates a whole wall frame trap?
Yup. It was extremely fast at the time. They toned it down now. It got nerfed to 20 frames startup. Well, it might not be 20, it might be a little bit less, but like it got nerfed really hard now. At the time, Crusader, when he would go into his install, it gave him 1 hit of armor. That doesn't exist anymore because now we have the gold cube, and they left when we first got the cubes. They left that in for him, saying the first thing that we get, the first hit is going to be armored no matter what. Like, it doesn't lose to lows, it doesn't lose to DPs. As long as it's not a multi-hit, your first hit will always be armored, as long as you just got a fresh install, right? And that gold cube let him have the install infinitely.
Okay. That does sound like a really productive and niche trade-off.
Yeah, it was insanely broken, to be honest. Nobody really knew how to use it, but Goichi was making great use of it. Damn, I gotta watch this again, bro.
Which thing? The arc thing that I have up here?
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta watch this world tour again. It's been so long since I saw it. 8 hours of DNF Duel. Yes, please.
Mm-hmm. Did the community ever express their opinions, like unanimously or generally, what they felt the problem with Dungeon Fighters Duel was? And chat, you can weigh in on this also.
I think so. Yeah. Like when there was like something like really needed to be changed, we all lost our shit because it was like, yo, Berserker could 2-touch you off of 1 mix-up, just 1. Let that sink in. Like, you lost neutral once, now you have to guess for game.
God damn it.
Yeah. That was insane. Incredibly unbalanced, bro. It was balanced in the sake of, the other top tiers were also kind of doing that, but not really. Not to the same extent that Crusader and Berserker were at, because we're talking like grand balance patch, the first balance patch that DNF Duel got, which was right after Frosties and the new year started, like around February. We ended up getting the patch, and it was just nuts, man, because it really was just 1 interaction and you die for either of these characters. Especially for Berserker. For Crusader, you still had a chance to outplay him, kind of. But if you left him alive and he was in gold cube, GG's.
Damn. It was just 2 touches everywhere, and we haven't even brought up the fact of like a matchup chart.
Oh my gosh. Do you want to know current matchup charts?
What are the odds are in favor to... What is the meta looking like today?
So the meta today, I'm gonna see if I can find you a quick picture of it for you. So the meta today is like revolving around mix-ups using instant overheads or double overheads, or guard breaking you and giving you a ton of chip damage. It's either or. If your character's not doing either one of those things, you're playing the low tier, which is probably only Battle Mage and Troubleshooter at this point. Because we got one last tier list. once all the DLCs were released, but not anymore. Those don't exist. Now it's just the top 5, being Kunoichi, Brawler, who's one of the DLCs, Monk, who's another DLC, and Ranger / Launcher, because they both do the same thing.
Oh.
Which is like, we get to break your guard bar, and you get to cry about it. Let me see. I used to have a bunch of tier lists here. Oh, wait. Oh, I found it. Here you go. This is I'm pretty sure this was like one of my final tier lists for the game.
Let me see. Why did I have this weird feeling that Striker definitely was like a top tier the whole game?
It was low key.
Because I remember the beta of this game, and she stood out right away. It's like, this character is too good. She's literally playing a different game playing this game. And she's just literally just playing Strike Throw.
Yeah. She was playing Strike Throw with the capability of not killing you with chip, because you can't die from chip in DNF. Instead, you get guard broken. We have a guard bar system, which is like, you take too many hits, your guard bar dies for you. You know, like, it kills you. So Striker, early on, like in one of the very first iteration of DNF, she was the best character in the game, because she had like 0 counterplay to her guard break setup. And even back then, the counterplay was either just DP or guard cancel. You can't. Anything else, you probably guessed too much, because rolls back then were not good.
Oh, the defensive mechanic roll.
Yeah. Yeah, they had to buff rolls back then, because honestly, Striker, she was also guard break. She could literally take you corner to corner, use up all her mana, and still guard break you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in a block string, by the way. Like, she's not hitting you. It's a whole block string. She's just taking you corner to corner. It was disgusting. Then we've got like Dragonite. I don't know if you know about Dragonite, but like Dragonite, she got a super dash in one of the most recent patches. Like the second to last patch, she ended up getting she has this like flight mechanic where she air dashes towards you, right?
Yes.
It's really slow. So what they ended up doing was that, in one patch, you can now cancel your dash you can now cancel the startup of your dash and keep the momentum with one of your aerial buttons. So we started calling it Super Dash.
Okay, I see the term, and I see the play on the tech.
Yeah. And then Launcher, she started off like one of the worst characters in the game. And slowly and surely, over time, they just overtuned her. Like right now, she is a complete monster to fight. It's really hard to play against her because she gets to put down a stage hazard, which is this grenade that doesn't hurt her, right? It like completely, it's 100% a stage hazard. The only issue is that this, for some reason, it's not actually it doesn't act like a real grenade, you know? It acts as like a proximity mine instead. And with that in mind, you would think, oh, okay, this sounds like a really cool set play tool. until you realize that Launcher literally uses it to start her pressure. She uses it to create space for herself. She uses it for literally her entire game plan. It's revolving around this tiny little grenade, her 2B, to do anything that she wants to do, because they at some point they buffed it so that she can cancel cancel the grenade into any single one of her moves, her special moves, her skills.
Interesting.
Right? So, and her skills are like, oh, she has 2 projectiles in her skills, 1 low move that low profiles for her, and an anti-air in there. So that means you can't even jump over the grenade when she uses it. She's gonna anti-air you. And it's like, the character at this point plays not like a zoner, but like a rushdown. Same with Ranger. They are classified as a zoner, but realistically, they are a rushdown character with zoning attached.
Okay, so the main game plan, and then they also have a secondary game plan by
yeah,
convenience.
Yeah, just to, give them something to do at full screen, I guess. Or, I mean, close up. Because it is true, Launcher at some point only had zoning as her game plan. She didn't have anything to do on defense, because her defense back then was really bad. But that changed over time, especially with the addition of Indomitable Spirit. Even when she was the worst character in the game, she was still hard, and it was still hard enough to get in on her. The only issue is she had a really hard time converting off of those hits. She didn't do damage, so over time they gave her damage, they gave her better routes, and then along with that, they just buffed everything that she had in her kit. Then Zerker. So, like I said earlier, Zerker was like the best character in the game at one point. Now, as you can see, he's fallen pretty low.
Yeah, Berserker.
That's because that's because he just got nerfed to the ground. But not because he's unplayable now. It's just because, like, characters got buffed. Like, for example, who got buffed? Hitman.
I remember Hitman being really good.
Yeah, Hitman was like a top tier on launch as well, because he was the only character, along with Striker, who could make their DP safe on block. Which is, like, in DNF Duel, that's very valuable as a defensive mechanic, but also during offense, because now your opponent has to respect your DP. And they could just let it rip whenever they want. It was like one of the main reasons, like, everybody hated Hitman at launch.
Oh my gosh, what a world, bro.
Yeah. It was rough. Troubleshooter was one of those characters who could do it too. He got nerfed really hard.
Oh, Maximilian clone.
Yeah. Bro, they did Troubleshooter dirty.
What? I would like to know, actually, and chat weigh in too. What happened with this character Troubleshooter? Because Max really loved this character. Maximilian dude.
Pretty much what happened was they took away all his sauce. Everything that made Troubleshooter cool, they took it away and instead said, okay, listen, if you're going to play this character, you're going to drink, you're going to use your drink, and you're going to end your combos in 7 hits. Or 7 moves, I should say. And that's Troubleshooter now. They took away his Oki, they took away his Todd starter, they took away what made him so good in that, when he would go for his Oki, he would put a net under you, and the net, if he gets hit, the net would disappear, unlike some other characters on this list.
My goodness.
right? But that was always in the game. So, but instead, what they did now was that when Bro would use his net, he couldn't be able to get a drink off it either. They increased the recovery of it. So overall, like, Troubleshooter just went down the drain after that grand balance patch.
Damn.
And
It's bad.
yeah. And then we have Grappler over there, who was like one of the... He was like the MVP in every single patch, because they would buff him in a way that made it so that his game plan wasn't to, like, win the round. It was to lose the round on purpose, condition your opponent into thinking you were going to do something, and taunt them.
What?
Yeah, that was optimal Grappler gameplay, was to lose the round, like, go for the craziest option off rip, and by the time you got to Gold Cube, which is like 30% of your life bar, like, that's what's remaining to get to the Gold Cube part, he would get mana cancels. And mana cancels is just, he can cancel his mana moves into other mana moves. And that opened up his neutral game and his damage. Because now all of his moves were pretty much unscaled.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, so he would, like, loop you to death if he hits you once. Especially with, like, any random starters. Even his 5B. If he hit you with his 5B... it was GG's. Like, you lost. And don't get me started about, like, and about how they did Grappler now. I like Grappler now. It's just, Grappler now is a little boring. Because now he's safer. He has options to play with now. His armor starts up sooner. It's not bad to be a Grappler player now, but it's not as exciting, because back then, like, and like, I could show you a clip of this. Let me see if Khalil still has it up.
Sure.
Bro.
I mean, the way he plays back then is the same he plays now. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Let me see if
conditioned strike throw. And then just massive whiff, and then massive punishing off of that if he guesses right. Let me read what you said, Gongo. Awakenings were powerful back then because only your main health, not the gray health, needed to trigger the 30% requirement.
Yeah, that was a huge change that was recently patched out. Okay, I got the clip right here. This was basically what it was like to play Grappler. I'm gonna send it to your DMs.
Sure.
And coincidentally, it features me.
Okay. The throw coming out. He's giving a well life pass. Be careful. He's got no space to actually use it.
Kind of in danger, honestly.
Oh, he gets trying to do something.
Catches the Wicklet. Oh my god.
Oh, damn. Yeah, he can just do like a sudden move and he's in there.
Yep. So I used armor to get in. Yep. And you saw that was my 5B that I started the combo with. He's dead.
That combo looked like it almost... Wow!
Yep.
Bro, this is a chombo.
Yeah, I'm doing one frame links there. Bro, it was the best. It was the most fun era of DNF, to be honest. Grand Balance Patch era was the most fun.
That is definitely a GG, so we gotta applaud that shit.
I just heard it. That was awesome. But yeah, so that's basically what it was like to play Grappler. You're losing the whole round, and then boom, you got one hit, you're in, you won the round because you taught everybody. And like, and it was funny too, because the one character you couldn't Todd it didn't matter because it was a winning matchup for you anyway. And that matchup was Crusader.
I was just about to think. I was thinking it was either Crusader or you're thinking the Monk dude. One of them two. It feels like you can't like structurally TOD these dudes.
Yeah. That's especially true now because everybody has received an HP buff as of the most recent patch. So now a lot of Tods just don't exist anymore. You will never see another Tod in DNF in this day and age. What you will see though is like somebody's gonna guard break you, and you have to use up all your life to block it using the IS system, which it transfers your red life, your true life, into white life. So if you get hit in the next interaction, you're pretty much dead anyway. You might as well have just gotten guard broken. But you know, it gives you that little extra fighting chance. Unfortunately, it's just it wasn't tuned properly, so we still have to take a ton of chip damage just to get the win.
Okay. I miss Grand Balance Patch era DNF. Ghostblades, 2S juggles. I remember those. I remember those. That's back when Ghostblade was able to do a loop off of that.
Yeah. No, yeah, he still has those.
Oh, he can still do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then I mean it's not totally gone then, Gog. The execution probably might have a tighter window these days, maybe.
Man, I don't know, to be honest, but I can tell you that it's as of the most recent patch, Ghostblade received a lot of quality of life changes, so to get to the loops is a lot easier.
Oh, okay then. Quality of life change.
Yeah.
If you can get it consistent, hell, you just be looping people all day.
Hell yeah. Like, if you ever get a chance, search up Gone Man in, like, the replay theater for DNF, and he cooks with that character. I low-key wish I learned, he makes me wish I learned Ghostblade.
Question 4. In your opinion, what do you think was the most broken mechanic in the game? Got hit with an ad break. I missed what he said. He was explaining the premise of just now. Oh, if you got an ad just now, he was just explaining the premise of TODs no longer being an integral thing in DNF anymore.
Yeah. Oh man, so what
the next question we're going into right now, I asked him what is in his opinion, what's the most broken mechanic in the game?
The most broken mechanic. It's like a combination of like Indomitable Spirit and the guard bar, because those two things go hand in hand, except Indomitable Spirit led to a guard bar nerf, which the Grand Balance patch had buffed initially. So when we first got to like give a little context, when we first got the Grand Balance patch, it was we're buffing the guard bar so that way characters can't be guard broken as easily. There were still characters guard breaking though, so I never thought it was an issue to nerf the guard bars. But they ended up nerfing the guard bars later on in like not a patch, but when Spectre dropped, there was a small balance patch. And it brought in this mechanic called Indomitable Spirit. This mechanic broke the game. Like, literally, what you saw in that clip was tame compared to what we have now. Because every character has access to white life whenever they want. Because before, only certain characters had access to it. And to get it, you would have to block a mana move from your opponent. So that means your opponent could just not use their mana moves and stick purely to normals to chip your to chip your guard bar. That was the game plan back then. Now it's like, oh, I don't care if you block my mana moves because I'm going to be plus on block, and now you're going to IS to take more chip damage on your true life, and your guard bar may or may not suffer from it, because Indomitable Spirit, in my opinion, was implemented well, but not well enough so that it covers everything. So what I mean by that is, for example, if I block one move, right? I can Indomitable Spirit and trade your, so like if you plan on staggering that move, I will go minus 25 to give myself white life from your normal. In exchange, now you're plus 25, or like plus whatever, right? So you can go ahead and just use the move again and loop it over. But the thing is, the next move in the string, from the next 20 to 25 frames of you ISing, the guard damage is negated. So when they introduced Indomitable Spirit, they nerfed the guard bar, which was like a big what for the whole community. The entire community hated it, except for like a few people like me who were learning new characters that play neutral really well, and especially when they had white life. So, for example, Lost Warrior is the boss character for DNF. You unlock him for beating the arcade mode with anybody, right? Like I said before, Lost Warrior, he does neutral skips. He has a full screen hit grab that tracks. He has, yeah, and he has like a lot of tracking moves and neutral skips. That's his entire kit. Literally, it's just neutral skip, tracking move, neutral skip, tracking move, neutral skip, and tracking move. It's insane what Lost Warrior can do. When they introduced Indomitable Spirit so that everybody has access to white life, that made Lost Warrior go from the worst character in the game to top 8 character in the game. I'm not even kidding. It was that much of a change for him, because now he could play neutral using his tools, because his main neutral skip and Todd starter at the time was his 5M, and that was literally like him just pancaking himself like Pikachu in Melee, and he would low profile almost every single move, leave a hurt box behind him so you can still swing at him while he's pancaked. But you know, if it's like a really high hitting move, it's gonna miss. So you had to use something, you know, that hit relatively low to the ground, and hope that he didn't cross you up in that time. And then he would, if it's blocked, he's screwed, because now he's minus 25, except, oh wait, he has white life, so now he can make it safe and keep his turn. And it just helped out with hit confirming too, because Lost Warrior, the only way for him to continue the combo off the 5M without conversion is to jump cancel and go into one of his air lariat, which is really hard to do if you get a counter hit, because they go up higher.
Do combo hits scale? Do counter hits scale, or are they at preset?
That's a good question. I think they don't scale. It's all preset. But yeah, some characters got really buffed when they got extremely buffed when they introduced IS. It made Hitman especially a little harder to fight against because now he goes into Gold Cube. I mean, it made him easier to fight against because now when he goes into Gold Cube, he has White Life. It wasn't just a gamble anymore. Like, if he has White Life at that point in the timeline, he was going to DP and make it safe. It made it really easy to counterplay him. Especially because they nerfed it as well. They nerfed the follow-up to the DP, which made it so that this guy could not true string into it, yeah. Because it wasn't really a true string, it was always gap, but they made the gap a little wider now. And just for reference, Spectre, who had just dropped, was one of the first characters. No, she was the second character because Grappler had mana cancels. He could already cancel his mana moves into parry, but he couldn't cancel his parry into mana moves. Spectre was the first character to get a full... Well, yeah, she was the first character to get a full parry cancel. She was the first one. So you'd think she'd be really good, but then you look at her frame data, she couldn't stagger. She had hella recovery on all her moves. She didn't have any gain. She didn't have mix. She didn't have instant overheads. She didn't have guard damage. So what was she doing? She was low tier when she dropped, so she wasn't doing anything. Some people, some loyalists, they played her, and they learned some really cool stuff for her, but that's all she had was, like, really cool combos and some niche uses for some of her other stuff, but that was it. I feel like I got sidetracked from the actual question.
Are you good? There can be an affording of deviation as we go, because we were talking about what I felt was what I delved into what I wanted to ask regarding what was like the most broken mechanic in the game, and then the risk reward factor with that. I think that did pretty much kind of answer for the most part between the Indomitable Spirit.
Yeah. So, let me keep going then, because like Indomitable Spirit changed so much about DNF. It was crazy. So right now, every character can IS and get White Life for themselves. So characters like Troubleshooter and Berserker, they didn't benefit from having their own mechanics give them White Life, because they can just generate it on their own too. Except for Berserker, whose whole kit is based around him literally losing his own life bar so that he can kill you in like 2 touches, hopefully, because he got nerfed. But in that same patch, Launcher got buffed, and we saw how much of a change IS really was, because now Launcher literally got buffed so that one of her moves, her 6M, will travel across the entire screen, give her plus frames, and if you can't roll it because she recovers faster from the move when you get closer. Like
spacing is the closer. Oh, so her being spaced out is good for the enemy. Bad for her. She has to get close to make use of her IS.
No, it was actually the other way around. Because and honestly, at any range, Launcher is a threat at this point. She could be across the screen, close up to you. If she presses her 6M, you're gonna eat a ton of chip damage. You're gonna have to IS a bunch, which means you're taking more chip damage. It was just not fair, I would say, for most characters who don't have like some type of projectile invulnerable move. And even back then, it was rough.
Yeah, they gotta have something in the way of Were GPs back then, were they like frame 4s?
DPs? No, DPs have always been frame 1.
Okay.
Yeah, including, that goes for parries, too. Parries are also frame 1.
Okay.
And I think that's pretty much it about IS and how much everybody hated it. Everything I said about Launcher 2 also applies to Ranger. As soon as Ranger got going, he was gonna make you take half your health and chip damage, or you were getting guard broken.
Man.
Yeah.
Question, either question 5 or question 6, one of them. But in your opinion, with DNF Duel now and the old MMO game, and then you got the new Dungeon Fighters game that's in the offing for this year or next year, one of the two. Do you
that Kazan game?
Yeah, Kazan.
Okay.
Has the DNF IP aged well or adequately over the years, in your opinion?
To be honest, I don't think they care. And I don't care either. Because they're going to keep doing what they want to do. They have the money to do it. So if they want to make another Dungeon Fighter, I welcome it. I just hope, it's handled a little better this time, because the launch of the first one was definitely not a success, because I feel like they went in, they wanted to make a product, they made the product, they didn't test out their product, and they just let it go out like that. They could have delayed it at least. Nobody would have blamed them if they said, hey, we got a bunch of issues right now, there's a bunch of bugs, we're not ready to launch. But it felt really unpolished and unfinished when you launch your game and it's the exact same build as the beta.
That sound... Okay, in some instances that's good and bad, because usually the beta at face value doesn't always align with what's on finality for market value and what you buy for the same product. So in this case, with the game's core finished product and everything from the beta aligning, how did it not mesh up correctly?
So pretty much what happened is that I think, so when the beta dropped, people, day one, literally, they were already finding infinites for the characters. Striker had an infinite on Ghostblade specifically, where she dive kicked him and she would hover right above him while pressing her JA. And that was it. That was the whole infinite.
Just that same,
and then,
those two buttons alone, it just repeats.
Yeah, no, just one button. She would dive kick and then just JA for the rest of the string. And that was an infinite
glitch.
for her.
Oh.
Yeah, she would just fly across. You could probably, literally searching up DNF Duel Striker and GIFs would show you that.
Oh, actually, someone sent me that from the DFO community during my podcast with Vicious.
Okay, so you know how ridiculous that looks when that's in the beta and it even goes into the full, your launch as well. So Grappler also had an infinite, but it was a skill check and it wasn't really an infinite because it had scaling to it.
Right. Yeah, Absolute was the one that sent me that. Yeah, thank you, Absolute. Yeah, he was one of the ones that sent me it during the initial dungeon podcast. Freaky.
Okay, we're not talking about how it worked. We're talking about if it existed or not. And so and then the other infinite was Crusader's infinite.
Crusade?
Oh,
Crusader, he had an infinite.
Yeah, and it was with his 2S, because it has a hitbox when he swings it upwards, his hammer, and when he's turning around to finish the swing, it has a hitbox coming down, and that gave hard knockdown. The issue is it also OTG'd, so he could just keep doing that. If he like got the angle right after doing a combo with his wall, he could get both hits of his 2S, and as the thing comes down, it hard knockdowns, and he can keep doing the 2S because it was like a frame perfect deal, but it was still a pretty easy infinite to do.
Okay.
And I think, oh yeah, Kunoichi also had an infinite on block.
Oh,
versus
good lord.
Versus, not the whole cast, but versus most of the cast, she had an infinite on block because they did not play, personally, it seemed like they didn't play test their game themselves. Because you got to understand, you make a move a certain amount of frames on block, you want to go check to see, okay, can they stagger this? Okay, can the opponent answer the stagger reliably without having to like hard commit to DP? Because at that point you're just kind of like, okay, you gave them free mix and free pressure with just one move. Congratulations. You don't see that type of interaction unless it's like a really bad design. Like purposely bad design. So Kuno, her block string infinite was literally just 5 AA.
Ew.
Yeah, that was it. Just 5 AA. On top of her already strong pressure. Which is like, I haven't even touched on Kunoichi, because if they're like, just listen to me right now, you can tell I'm trying to contain myself, okay? Kunoichi is like literally what Melee Fox is, if that makes sense. Like, you know how overwhelming and omnipotent Melee Fox could be? That's what Kunoichi is for DNF Duel.
She must have commanded, or is still commanding a lot of the neutral, or just dictating a lot of people's options.
Yeah, she is, especially on block and in neutral, because you can't ever punish you. Like, only certain characters could even like get her to calm down. Lost Warrior being one of those, because you can't jump versus Lost Warrior. He has anti-airs. He can skip the neutral, baby. He is the neutral.
Okay.
Damn, absolute zero.
Let's see here. Question 6 and/or question 7. In your opinion, let's delve down the rabbit hole for the DLCs.
Okay.
And so, chat, you already know I'm going to get ready to open up my doodaddles here for the DLC. So, we got our Nen Master. We got the little mage chickie over here. We got Monk.
Battle Mage.
Yeah, Battle Mage. We got Monk. We got Brawler. And we got Spectre.
Yeah.
And then a lot of other doodads that came with the pass. So, do you feel like the pass during its time was enough of an impact to revive the scene? Or do you feel like they could have gambled, the company could have gambled on like a guest character? Or there was just like a lot of miscommunication, or something that was lost through the transition of patch to patch with each character's meta?
So you worded that really interestingly when you said if there was like any communication. We we did not get much communication from them in terms of like what to expect for the characters, except for their Twitter account, which would constantly, when at the time the DLC characters were coming out and being announced, would constantly try to shell out DFO lore and tell people, oh, this character is coming from this place, the next character's coming from this place. Check out what the scenery is like here in DFO, and that was like the main marketing for them. Like it was just Twitter screenshots of some place in the MMO, and they're trying to use that to tell you, oh, somebody's coming. And it was like, it wasn't even, I can't even say it was good marketing, because absolutely nobody cared about the lore of DFO, except for like all the mage characters that you see in the game. They're all from like IRL Manhattan. Well, not Manhattan specifically, they're from the Bronx. Earth exploded, like, to give a little bit of context, Earth exploded, and a piece of the Bronx survived in space, and eventually came to this magical land, and that's where all the mages come from. They all come from the Bronx.
What?
Is like the most random piece of lore there, and that's coming from the MMO, by the way. That's like so funny to me.
That is OD. DFO lore
Yeah.
is weird. It's not just weird, that is wild.
Yeah. And so when the characters were releasing, I think I spoke briefly on Spectre, saying that she was legit the worst character in the game. She was dog water. That didn't change when the second DLC character came out. Battle Mage came out. Both of those characters were ass. I don't know why. Then I think Brawler came out. And I'm not even going to say too much about Battle Mage, because there's really nothing remarkable to say. There's even nothing unremarkable to say about her. She was the most mid character ever released. That's all I gotta say.
I thought Battle Mage was like one of the more cuter picks that they popped into the game. I think for her, from what I could see from one or two of the Tampas that I've seen, I think the fun with her lies in understanding and unleashing her combo potential. That's where a lot of her fun potential is.
Yeah, that's pretty much how every single DLC character went. Oh, Brawler was the second character? Oh, okay, yeah. Then Brawler came out. He was top tier from the start, because he has a DP that is not armored, so it's fully invincible, because there are armored DPs in this game, and they lose to lows. Right?
Whoa, the logic still exists in this game.
Yeah.
That's a logic that's true in Blaze Blue and a couple other games, where it's just like you got these armored moves that you just load them and it just beats the whole system.
Yep. Yeah. So that's true for like every single armored move. Like if you hit them low while they're charging armor, you counter hit them. And so Brawler, alongside having a frame 1 DP, he also has a frame 3 armored move, both requiring mana. And then he has one more armored move, which is a multi-hit. It's not frame 3 armor, but it's his 4S. So, and I don't know what the startup for the armor is. I think it's at least frame 5 or 8 for the armor to start. But that's still pretty good.
Hey, this looks like a spin to win.
Oh yeah, it's a spin to win.
The anti-air. Oh, good lord! I don't even need to read any more of that.
Yep, he could jump out of that too, so he can extend his combos from it. If you don't trade into the armor hit and he just hits you, he just gets the combo from it. That was a recent change that they made. Thank you, Nexon, for approving that. He definitely needed that. on top of having a DP and the highest base damage and the highest minimum damage in the game, by the way. This man has Berserker Grand Balance Patch damage in his 2A. He 2-touches you for hitting you with his fastest button.
Damn. Okay,
He hate this character.
okay, this guy is gonna see a hell of a lot of play then. His fastest button is also a Todd starter.
Yeah.
Viable.
Yeah. Yeah, he's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. So there's and then there's Monk, who on launch had an instant overhead that he could combo from on the whole cap. They took that out with when Nenmaster dropped. Nenmaster was the last character.
Ah, yes, the community favorite.
Yeah. So when Monk dropped, he was the best. He was like low key the best character in the game, but he got nerfed like 2 months later, so we didn't really get to see too much of that Monk meta. But it was fun when it was out. It was fun because I legit stopped blocking. Whenever you play Monk, it is a rule that you stop blocking, because you don't have to. He has a frame 3 meterless reversal that also has a frame 3 armored, no, not frame 3, frame 1 armored follow up that is overhead. Disgusting. A character was literally built to not lose.
Damn, that's a good health pool. No true reversal, close range, big damage, standing overhead. Standing overhead is like one of the more threatening moves you could give a character. It's so niche to block a standing overhead.
Yeah, yeah, that's like the next thing I was gonna get into too. I was like, I got quiet for a second watching you go through it because I wanted you to see his pros and cons.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's it right there. His 5B is the standing overhead, and you can fuzzy it into his 2B because it has 2 hits, right? The first hit is not the overhead. The second hit of his 5B is the overhead. So what you could do is like you could 5B1 the first hit, delay it just a little bit so it looks like the second hit's coming out, and then go low. Or even worse, which was my favorite thing to do, you can condition the opponent into thinking you're gonna throw out the low after they block the overhead and go double overhead on them.
That's just mean.
Yeah, I know. It's not even a command. Exactly, it's not even a command normal. It's just him throwing out his fist at you. At 10 frames, by the way. 10 frame startup.
Wow, that's clean. And it's -3 on block. That is super clean.
Yep. This character was legit not built to lose. But then they nerfed him, so now he loses to some characters that he can't confirm from instant overheads anymore, unless it's a counter hit.
That created his counterplay. He didn't have a lot of it, so now they had to create it forcefully.
Yeah, they were like, "Oh man, we released some broken shit. Let's tone them down, you know." But they'll still leave the guard break setups in the game with this dog shit IS mechanic that they gave us. Because the reason why I say IS is dog shit is because like you'd think, oh okay, I just have to like time my IS press for the next 25 frames. I negate all guard damage, until you realize most moves that do high guard damage are multi-hitting moves. So it's like, I remember it being like you have to hit like a frame 4 window. You have like a 4 frame window to negate all guard damage from Ranger's guard break. It's disgusting. Like, it was not fair. And so Monk also had a guard break on launch, but it was fair because it's not multi-hits. So you could like time out, you could like work it out yourself without needing to like know, okay, this is the 4-frame window to that.
Okay.
Prime Swiftmaster is like
I remember
child's
his
play.
era. I do remember his
Yeah.
era. That was a pretty good menace for this video game that set the standard pretty damn high.
Yeah, I would say that Prime Swiftmaster is child's play to the Swiftmaster we have now. Because the Swiftmaster we have now could make his DP safe on block. He has a new move where is basically his tap punch that you had to like negative edge it before. He could do that in the air now, and they gave him all his damage back for those moves. Those moves, he basically taunts you for it, and you take like 80% for it. It's disgusting. This is like Swiftmaster now.
Damn.
Yeah. And then there's Nenmaster, the last DLC character who dropped, who, had some mixed reviews when she first dropped. I thought she was like garbage when she first dropped because she has an instant overhead as well, but it only works on like 4 characters in the cast, or like 5 characters in the cast. So it's really just a matchup check. It's not really usable in most of the cases, but she does have really strong pressure versus everybody. Which is just that, she's just giving you she's just putting pressure on you and your guard bar. So she can guard break you, but that's if like you fall asleep at the wheel and you don't try interacting with her, which is kind of hard to do already because she also has a DP. She also has armored moves. It's just she's not as carried, I would say, as Brawler. Like when they released Nenmaster, they were careful not to make her broken, and I feel like that really pissed off a lot of people because they purposely made Brawler broken. They purposely made Monk broken.
Interesting.
Half the cast gets instant overheaded. That's awesome.
Standard. She's an all-arounder that enhances her abilities with a thunderclap install. Okay, so this chick. Okay, I see. Okay, I see. Her whole gimmick is her whole gimmick and thing is the neutral. Everything she does is off the neutral.
Yeah, she plays neutral really well. Especially, and then once she wins neutral, that's when her pressure really turns on. Because she has this, her install adds extra frame data to her stuff. Now every single hit is basically 2 hits. She gets a new move inside her install for her 5B. She gets basically 4 hits on her 5B now. So like and her gold cube gives her the install permanently. And then her clear cube is just, she gets some buffs to her mana regen, her run speed, and chip damage. Which, it works well for her with her install, because her install is already doing.
Let me read what you wrote, Monica. Hang on.
Yeah.
When Monk came out, we had the data mine for Nenmaster, and her install, Projectile JA, was an overhead, so she could instant overhead the entire cast in the data mine version. What is that?
She went. Yeah, I completely forgot about that, to be honest. I forgot we data mined her because I didn't data. I didn't like download the data mine. I didn't try playing around with it. Because I was like, let me respect these guys' decisions. Because at the time, the community was actually really excited for Nenmaster. Like, everybody was hyped for Nenmaster. And then she dropped, and she was really bad compared to what we data mined. Yeah, like, she was really tame. I was like everybody said, we were expecting her to have the instant overhead JA. We were expecting her 6S to get a buff when she was in her install, because her 6S is a meterless projectile. It was slow without the it was supposed to be slow without the install, but when she got installed, it turned into like a full screen, you can't even jump over a projectile, and it was hella fast.
Damn.
So I was expecting something like that when she was using her 6S and install, but then she came out and they played it too safe, I would say. That's her DP. Her DP is so cool. It's a Rasengan pointed upwards. The only issue is that you could low profile it.
Oh, so when she goes to commit to this, you can just like hit a low or low crush, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I still think it's a nice animation. So okay, so just like what I've studied before. So during her data mine during a previous character's launch, they changed some of her aspects so when she came out, it would be different than what people had, I guess, discovered at the time.
Yeah, which is fine. That tends to happen when people data mine stuff. But like, people were really excited for that version of Nedmaster to come to the game, and then we got this version, and people are like, "Damn, she kind of sucks though," which is true. She did kind of suck.
The data mine only happened to begin with because Monk's files needed to be extracted for the Dustloop wiki. Well, hang on. Didn't the authors for didn't the authors already have like a vague idea, or do they only have an idea about most frame data like the week of, say, characters' advent?
For Dustloop and data mining, I have no idea. Because the people who were writing in all the stuff for Monk's image files. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, we didn't have frame data. In fact, we didn't have what was it? I don't think we had proper frame data until Nedmaster came out in the training mode. Yeah, we didn't have frame data until Nedmaster came out, which is interesting.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so, yeah, that's pretty much the brief history of DNF Duel. Tournaments were still being hosted. We haven't had a tournament in like 2 months now. So, I mean, for NA and EU's gone on. EU's has been hosting. EU has been like bumming off of NA for a while for tournaments. So that was fun. That's fun, But the only event I know now that is consistently hosting DNF is Khalil with his Wampa Warriors ladder. Shout out to Khalil for keeping the scene alive. And TNS will occasionally add the game to their featured game of the week.
Yeah, they're doing that, and I want to also say Training Mode Network, but don't quote me on that.
Oh yeah. Training Mode Network also does it as a bi-weekly for beginners.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, like DNF now is so different as what it was before, because we actually had a community before. Whenever I would stream the game, we would have 30 viewers for the game. Just there playing the game, playing each other in the lobby, playing each other in ranked nights. And I would host a lobby every single day. I don't do that no more because I got a job. I'm not unemployed anymore, thank God. Because I was not making money streaming, but I loved it anyway, honestly, because of the people coming to the stream and showing love to the community and the game in general. I was infatuated with DNF. Now that I've had time away from it, I know that this game sucks. You can't convince me otherwise. But it's not something that, you know, that should have been left alone like it was, because there at the time there was a lot of love for this game, and it's sad to see that the devs didn't continue pushing for the scene, to keep the scene going, because like I said, like we were going. Diaphone even came back for the release of Nen Master. Like DNF was turning heads finally. People were watching us, and they wanted to see more. They wanted to see how, you know, the game was going at that time. So it's a bit of a shame how it is now. It's just completely silent, and the devs themselves, not the devs, the publisher Nexon themselves said that they're not interested, or like they're not looking forward to, like, you know, they're looking forward to working on other things, pretty much saying that they don't really have any plans for DNF now. They might bring back DNF later. We don't know that, but for right now, we've got our definitive no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember, because I think for the little bit of time that it was going on, for some change, like a lot of people had a good amount of attention on this. Yeah, like you said, between Khalil and Tampa, Training Mode Network. I think even Yipes and the Can Opener had one.
Yeah, they held it down for the longest. Shoutouts to the team of Shadow Royalty. They did 100 brackets for DNF over the past, you know, for its whole lifetime that the game was running. I made sure I joined almost every single one up until the end, when I was pretty much fed up with the game. Because, you know, I don't like getting hit by instant overheads. I feel like instant overheads in this game should not have been a thing. It's one of my biggest gripes with the game. It's like, why add in instant overheads? Why not just keep going the guard break route? Why do you need to mix me up? Just break my guard, bro. I dare you. Let me guard cancel, please. Bro, because like, it really was fucked up. Like, they gave instant overhead to Monk, right? Who was like the highest base damage, not the highest base damage because you still have Brawler, but like Monk was still two-touching you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's like the whole history of DNF right there. Do you have more questions?
Yeah, there's still a couple more.
Oh, okay, lit.
In your opinion, when do you think or feel the game actually died?
After Nen Master. Like, literally after Nen Master launched, the game's viewership for the game had dropped. My videos stopped getting hundreds of views. I started only getting like 30 views per video, so I was like, oh boy, this is not a good sign. Then I dropped the Nen Master tutorial, not the tutorial, but like to show off some B&Bs for her. That got 1,000 views for it, so I was like, okay, maybe there's a chance. But then I did another video after that showcasing like ranked matches with her. I did not get the same love for that one, so I was like, oh boy. After that, it was like the viewership month to month was dropping steadily. I was like, okay, I gotta jump ship and do something else for the sake of my interest as a creator, you know? Like, I had fun with DNF Duel. The run was good. The run I had with it was good. Yeah, you know, I reached 1,000 followers thanks to DNF Duel. I will. You wish you could hit double digits, bro. Honestly, like, and That's why I still play DNF Duel to this day. It's not because I like the game. I have been disillusioned about this game already. It's just I like hanging out with my friends. And everybody that I've met over the years of playing this game, I definitely consider a friend.
Yeah.
Because only a friend will sit down and play this shit fucking game with you.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know? You feel me, bro? Like, damn. And one of my favorite moments was picking up Lost Warrior. I dropped Grappler to play Lost Warrior so that I can finally play neutral, and I never looked back.
Oh, okay.
Like losing the whole round just to get a tot off at the end. That's fun and all, but like that's very stressful. And like one loss could leave me feeling like, damn, I could have played so much better, when in reality it's just a character that was not built to play neutral like that. He's just built to dash block until he pushes you to the corner, basically walking you down Street Fighter style.
That sounds like what it is. Like, as he's walking you down in order to do his neutral, he's eliminating a lot of your options out of neutral.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you gotta take a ton of chip damage just to get that one hit in, you know?
Yeah.
Spectre Patch was the worst, Goggin goes. I agree, yeah, Spectre Patch was the worst. Because that's when Ranger got buffed, and they tripled down on that Ranger buff ever since then.
Damn.
Like every patch after that. Yeah, every single patch after that, Ranger launcher, they kept getting buffed. We all cried when we got patch notes, and we were like, oh no, they gave Ranger 5A whiff cancels. We're fucked. Because that was literally our one interaction point in neutral. It was so unnecessary to give him that. Because like he was already controlling the neutral pretty well. Now you're just making it so that he can mash a button at full screen. With it, he's gonna dash cancel it and do it again. Or even worse, hit you. And now you're debuffed. You do less damage, you take more damage, and your mana comes back slower.
Damn. Actually, that poses the next question. What point of the game's lifespan did you feel like was the best?
Grand Balance patch. Before there was any DLC in the game, that patch, right after they had the World Tour, that was peak DNF. I'm gonna tell you that right now. That was right before they added Indomitable Spirit too, and they had just buffed guard bars as well. So like seeing someone get guard broken was rare for most of the cast, especially because guard bars aren't uniform either. Some characters have a higher guard bar than others. So, like, for example, Grappler, when he's in Gold Cube, he takes less chip damage, but, like, it doesn't really matter, because he's already at 30%, right? What matters is that his guard bar is taking less damage as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. But like that was when they added the Grand Balance patch, that was honestly the most free I felt in DNF. That's when I started learning Lost Warrior. Lost Warrior was really cool back then too. They made some changes to Lost Warrior is 100% better as he is now, but I would have liked to have seen them implement something else for his Gold Cube, because his Gold Cube at the time he only had at the time he only had the one cube. This is the pre-grand balance patch, which was like, oh, his time stops. The when he uses his mana moves, they add a stack of time stop to it, right? And when he gets 5 stacks, he stops time. So in Gold Cube, the time stop lasts longer, and the hit stop when on his moves is also longer. So he has more time to confirm off of hits. The problem with that,
optimization windows.
yeah. So like, Lost Warrior was a really cool character. But the problem with that was, like, it messed with all of his B&Bs. He couldn't. He had to. You had to completely reroute your combos as soon as you got to Awakening. But it's kind of worth it because he can combo from his parry after that.
Damn.
Yeah. Like, Lost Warriors was one of the only characters who could combo after parry, and even like do at least, I remember labbing this out one day, he was doing at least 50% to your life bar. And for some characters,
off a grab extension.
No, off of parry.
Oh, off a parry. Off of a parry extension.
Yeah.
Damn, that's still pretty good.
Yeah. Like, he was a monster. Low key. It's just he didn't have his neutral was really bad back then, because again, his like main neutral skip was minus 25 on block without white life, so he relied a lot on white life. So when Indomitable Spirit was added to the game, he became better. He also took some nerfs though. His air lariat, his JS, was nerfed in order for it to be canceled out like Dragon Knight's air dash is. Right? He can like input he can like Kara cancel it pretty much into another move as long as it's an air move, like an air normal. So he could go JS, JSA, JSB, and it would like, he would dash first instead of it being like, oh, he cancels out the animation and the momentum carries him. No. It's way less nuanced. It's just he does the animation of the air lariat and then he does the move. And when he does that, he's super minus.
Damn. Well, man,
he was like,
got the visual indicator, if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that like but they added some really cool stuff to him though. And overall, like, honestly, Grand Balance patch was a lot of fun. The Spectre patch would probably be like a close second for me as well.
Okay.
Like, those two patches I feel like were really cool because on one side we got to see the meta develop in a different way than it was before. On the other hand, the Grand Balance Pass was just way more bearable and enjoyable to play, because you didn't have these guard break strings coming out left and right from almost every character in the game, pretty much. So like, there was a lot. So basically, there was a lot more interaction going on, which the community was really happy about, because we didn't like the whole checkmate scenarios that they kept putting in. That's why I feel like, you know, with us complaining about guard breaks so much, they're like, you know, okay, so we're just gonna give these guys, the newer characters that we're dropping, we're just gonna give them instant overheads. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good, but at the same time, if everybody has that, I don't know if that's good. That sounds bad.
Yeah. Like instant overheads is so fucked up. Because technically Brawler doesn't have an instant overhead, but he does have basically amongst JS, just slower.
Okay, there's some stuff you can do with that, despite having a slower button. But you still,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess it's still it still has the same frames on block, more or less, at the cost of it being reactable on startup.
Yeah, pretty much reactable. I mean that move is still pretty fast. I don't know the frame data for it. I think it's like 18 frames or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me do a quick Google search for it.
Sure.
JS. Okay, Bros JS is
Which character?
it's 24 frame startup. Okay. Brawler. So that's not bad if you think about it. The 24 frames is pretty serviceable actually. That's like barely, that's like reactable enough. People are still getting hit by that.
Yeah.
The JS. But man, like the community nowadays, they say like if we can go back and to like a different patch with the DLC characters, this game would probably be more fun because then we wouldn't have like guard breaks coming out from like almost every single character. Because like I could tell you how many characters have a guard break: Striker, Kuno, Ranger, Lost Warrior. Even though his is more like, you know, you kind of just stopped interacting with him and he's just going to town on your guard bar, is like the same thing, you know, like it's still a guard break string that he's looping like plus frames on you. Who else? Nenmaster, Monk, Ranger, Launcher, Inquisitor, Spectre. Like that's already 10 characters. That's more than half the cast with a guard break string.
That's very viable right there for half the cast.
Yeah. Like, so the game does have guard break strings. It's just certain characters do it better. And it's literally uninteractable. Like those characters that do it better, it's literally just because it's uninteractable.
There's no like direct counterplay for that, or there's no counterplay for them doing that.
Yeah, there's no counterplay. It depends on the matchup. Some characters have zero counterplay for it, except for like if they have white life at the end of it, which usually they don't. Because when Ranger goes for his guard break setup, he enforces a strike throw on you after hitting you with JM, which is not good because he gets the hard knockdown, he throws the grenade down, and he gets to meaty you with falling JA. Is it JA or JB? One of those two. And that is by itself enables the mental stack. It's all like, okay, is he gonna come and try to get a combo from his grab? Okay, is he gonna come at me and try to stop my grab tech with his DP, which, by the way, he can combo from it afterward because the grenade is still under your foot.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's there's a follow-up with it.
Yeah, so not even a follow-up. He gets to convert off of his DP because of the grenade blowing up under him, on top of you, pretty much. While he after he DPs you, because as you come back down from the DP, to give you like a visual of it. So like imagine he just came down, he threw the grenade, he's running up to you, and instead of throwing you, he does DP, right? And then you fly up, you're coming back down, you're about to land. It's not hard knockdown, and then the grenade blows up right before, like close to where you hit the ground. And you get knocked up again, and he gets to combo you for free after that.
Oh, okay.
So that's already two ways he can open you up.
That's
that's
dirty.
You know, yeah. The DP one you can punish, and obviously you can still punish the grab with a hard read, but then that there lies the layers in Ranger's set play. It's all like, am I gonna guard break you? Am I gonna try to grab you? Am I gonna try to counter hit your tech, your grab tech? Am I just not gonna let you play and just stand there and let you blow up on your own? Am I just gonna return to neutral and let my mana come back because I'm low on mana? It's so rough because that grenade has a short timer and a really big hitbox. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've punished Ranger himself. I've got the correct read, but then I get punished by the grenade afterward, so he gets the round.
Damn.
Yeah, the grenade stays after you hit him. That's like one of the biggest things about the Ranger matchup is like, hey, by the way, you may have won the RPS, but you still have to get out of the fucking oven.
Damn. You guess right, and you still might actually lose, just even from being right.
Yeah, just for guessing right, like. Sure thing, man. I totally, you get that dopamine hit, you just guessed right, and then boom, you lost because you thought you were gonna win. You thought you were deserving of a round. Psych. No one deserves anything in DNF.
My goodness.
Yeah, so people didn't like that. People did not like Launcher's version of it, which is the same exact thing, except she doesn't need to get hard knockdown. She just needs to retreat to neutral and let her MP come back. Or she does get the hard knockdown, and all of a sudden you see 2 nukes coming down from the sky. Each of those nukes delete your guard bar by 50%. But thanks to Indomitable Spirit, you don't actually suffer that much from it because you can negate all guard damage done afterward. It's just now you just took a ton chip damage, which is basically what Launcher's aiming for you to do. It's all like, yes, use your white life, convert your neutral. You have to, because characters need to use conversion to get through Launcher's neutral, which is ridiculous unless you have like a projectile invul move, which not many characters do. But a lot of the DLC characters definitely do.
Okay. And then I guess in that perspective, that's probably leaning down the rabbit hole of the DLC characters got the better end of a more productive toolkit to apply.
Kind of, yeah. Pretty much, yeah, I would say so. Because, like, even though, like, Spectre and Battle Mage came out and they're, like, straight mid, you're better off playing someone else because those characters suck. Even to this day, like, Spectre got buffs. I'm playing her right now. I'm like, bro, this character still plays the same. There's been no noticeable difference except, oh wait, everybody who was already top tier and really good at the game, really good at, not saying that the players aren't good at the game, they are. I'm saying the characters who were already performing really well got buffed even more, leading to the overtuning problem.
Yeah, not the balancing problem, but the overtuning.
Yeah, like, the balance in the game is great right now. It's just the top 5 to 8 characters, they're really broken. Lost Warrior included. Because, again, Lost Warrior legit skips neutral for fun.
Damn.
It's really crazy what DNF is right now. Like, you would say it's a party game. Like, if you look at if you ever watch like some of the most recent Shadow Royalty tournaments or Wampa Warriors tournaments, like, you would be like, wow, this game is insane. Like, how could he even react to that? Like, you just guess. There's no such thing as reacting in DNF. It's pure RPS every single time.
Damn.
Yeah.
Next one, I was gonna say here, going into my next question, is in your opinion, if DNF Duel was relaunched today, do you feel the game has a chance on today's market?
I'd say so, yeah. Honestly, I do believe so. DNF Duel, the first one that came out, when it first came out, it was super unbalanced. It felt like they didn't really know what to do with the game. Now that they've got their first 2D fighting game out of their way, and they got their feet wet with it, and they understand that maybe they should, listen closely to fans of their game, and maybe listen a little more closely to the advice developers are giving them, then yeah, they could 100%, come back into the FGC market and capitalize off it, try to get some more people, because it feels like they prioritized using they prioritized using DNF as a marketing tool for the MMO.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, that's what it felt like they were doing. And to be honest, that's cool and all. I understand, like, the DFO is your bag. That's what makes you your money. But you came into this space of hardcore fans for the genre, and you low-key let everybody down, because a lot of people were excited for your game, and then on launch you just gave us the beta build again, instead of telling us that maybe the product isn't ready right now. Give us a little more time. That's all you had to do. Nobody would have blamed you if you said, we got hella bugs in here, please wait.
Yeah, none at all, because you're thinking about the longevity of your patch's reach, the range of it.
That's pretty much it, man. Because nobody likes to lose the game from one interaction, and nobody likes checkmate situations either. But we still have those to this day. It's just not, it's still pretty prevalent, to be honest. It's just most of them are interactable, whereas only a few of them aren't, namely Ranger, who again has a debuff he puts 3 debuffs on you. You take more damage, you do less damage, and your mana regen is slower. That's it. Like, Ranger is honestly the only one who has uninteractable checkmate setups, because he's making your mana regen slow.
Damn. So he's affecting you. So he's literally affecting your utility for as the payoff of his gimmick.
Which shouldn't be the case, to be honest. Like, that's just questionable. That's really questionable design. Like, why do I suffer from you losing? If anything, he should be getting passives for himself, because he doesn't get any passives. That's the trade-off. He doesn't get any passives, but he gives you debuffs. But I feel like those debuffs are, like, really strong, and especially with the way that they were buffing him, definitely overtuned. They could have at least gotten rid of some moves that give debuffs, like, or at least toned down the utility of all his moves, because, to be honest, giving him a 5A dash cancel and then doubling down and making it so that he can 5AA dash cancel on whiff, is ridiculous. But then, you know, you also he's also like the character with the most disjointed 2A. He has the longest reaching 2A.
Oh my gosh.
It's all disjointed. You can't punish it by jumping in because it's like 15 frame recovery. So seeing quality of life changes versus like characters like that who were legit like just really prevalent in the meta and just making the game seriously not worth playing. Because that, you know, and I've seen it in my chat time and time again, people complaining about, oh, this character legit just blew me up. And I'm like, yeah, he does that. Welcome to DNF. And they're just like, oh, and they leave. Is like, dude, obviously something's wrong. You don't double down on that decision.
Okay. That covers all the questions that I did seek to go over tonight.
Nice, sweet. Cool. Thanks for
Alright.
having me. I'm glad we got to do this.
Same. I'm glad. Because I know when Jax introduced me to the DFO community again, it was just interesting seeing a handful of familiar faces that I have met before and that I have played with before via either like an Injustice scene or throughout Dragon Ball or Guilty Gear or Grand Blue prior.
Yeah. I remember seeing you one time at SummerSlam. Was it SummerSlam? Yeah, it was SummerSlam. That's when I got that was the first major I went to, and I remember seeing you there. And I didn't approach anybody to say hi. I saw a lot of like celebrities. I consider you a celebrity too. I hope you don't mind.
Oh,
because like
no, not at all. I don't really see myself as a celebrity. I just do the same thing I do every day.
I love that because that's the type of vibe I'm onto. You know, like I don't like the other day I was at work. Some people like low-key recognized me and they were like, "Yo, is that GrayCapedHero?" I was like, "Yo, bro, I'm at work right now." I didn't say anything, but like to myself, I was like, "Yo, bro, I'm at work right now. No way, people just recognized me."
Yo, we see you, but we can't make a scene type thing.
Yeah. But yo, thank you so much, man. I'm gonna hop off now. Have a good night.
Oh, you
Have
are
a good
most
night,
welcome.
chat.
Anybody you want us to raid?
Oh, let me see.
And while he's finding somebody for us to raid, chat, I appreciate you guys coming through and taking the opportunity in order to enjoy the podcast here for DFO and DNF. If any of you guys have your own stories also, as I take the next podcast and chapter back to the dungeon community, feel free to hit me up and share any of your stories via Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky. Let me know.
You can raid my boy Kirin KQP.
Kirin KQP. Let me see.
Yeah, KQP. Yeah. Oh, he playing the seamless Dark Souls 3 mod.
Spell that name out for me.
KIRI KQP.
KIRI.
Yeah.
And then what was the rest of it?
KQP. Oh, Kirin, like Kirin. KIRIN KQP.
Oh, got it. Okay. Kirin
Yeah.
KQP. Alright, content is intended for certain audience. I'm not scared. That's loud.
Alright, bro. Have a good night. Thanks, everybody.
Always. Alright, chat, and that was GrayCapedHero. So if you guys want to definitely leave a follow for GrayCape, hang on, I'm going to hop on over to my Twitter, like so. Feel free to hit him up on the socials here via his Twitter, as we're going to get ready to go on ahead and head on out ourselves. And like I said, if you guys have any stories that you want to share also of your time through Dungeon Fighters Online and the community, which is also listed right here for the official Dungeon DNF Duel community, let me know, and we can tell the story live in the next chapter of the Space Bridge, the official podcast for the Iacon battle circuit. We're going to get ready to raid Kirin KQP, so I'm going to leave you guys at Dark Souls 3 for the night. You guys take care, and like I always say, till all are one.